Trying to be a little bit clever tonight. Uh, Given that I was talking about the technology stack, that's what I'll be talking about. Here's a more traditional stack, and it's actually kind of appropriate because, after all, this is your pre digital stack of information. You could say even tools. And now, of course, we are giving these away to goodwill, leftover, right? So, the context for today is what kind of technology that I use for business. And it gets almost to be a very personal thing, doesn't it? Because everyone today has a life that is built around what applications and programs and software that they use. And that ranges from what they use as far as social media and communication, what they use to track their health, whether they have a Fitbit or they use uh, various programs where they call it the digital self. Where you've got the I don't have one of these the watch where you can get the email, but it's also monitoring your heart rate and your number of steps and everything else. So it gets pretty personal, doesn't it? Well, I'm going to leave the personal out of it for now, and I'm just going to talk about the straight up the technology stack that I use for day to day. And maybe I'll just run through originally, and then perhaps I'll have time to come back. Now, you may or may not be familiar with all of these that I'll mention, but they're pretty garden variety. It just has to do with setting them up to work with one another. Okay, so first and foremost, anything on the web has a password, right? And I have about 550 passwords. Maybe 50 of them are sort of out of use or no longer current. But I keep these in a program called Dashlane. Dashlane is really neat because it has a desktop program where you can pull up any of your passwords. It also has a vault where it challenges you to get into the software, and then it challenges you again to go to various documents. And in those documents, you can have whatever you need to have. I keep track of information, kind of where things are saved and that sort of thing. It will also keep records of invoices. So if you receive an invoice, it will log it in there, which is kind of neat. It also has all your information so that with one click, you can fill in those pesky web forms. Just snap, it's all in there, saves a lot of time. It's very, very time saving. This is all going to be about Dashlane. Very time saving and takes away a lot of the frustration of forgetting passwords and so on, which drives me insane. So, I'll tell you the outlines of some other things. So, of course, I have G Suite, which is basically a business Gmail account. All the applications, the website, uh, and so forth are all connected, and that pretty much runs all the communication, runs the business. That's very important. Everything hooks to it. Now, there are all kinds of applications you can get. For example, I have an application called Yesware. Very, very useful. What it does is it tracks whether or not your emails get opened or not. And this is it. It's not as spooky as you think. Uh, Depends on how you use it, I guess. It's good when you send somebody an email to know that they received it because there's sort of a peace of mind in there. You sent something to the client, they opened it. You know they opened it, they got the report, that sort of thing. Another interesting thing is that people will open up an email that you sent 6 months ago. And just from that, you're top of mind for whatever reason. And that can be useful. It can just be a reminder, hey, in a week I've got to get in touch with that person. Just to keep that relationship going. Another really critical basic utility is Dropbox. And most people are using some kind of hosted utility. I don't I don't save anything on my computer that is not in the Dropbox folder, which is being constantly mirrored up to Dropbox. So, for example, my computer failed a few months ago, and I just, put it aside and got a new computer and just loaded up. I save everything via login with my browser. All the settings on the browser and the shortcuts, the favorites, all those things, they're there. So all I have to do, as you all know, I'm not telling you anything new, it all comes up. And then we've got Dashlane. I reinstalled Dashlane, all the passwords are up. Then I reinstall Dropbox, and all the files in the sky get mirrored back down. So literally, I can get up and running in a half an hour on a new machine, and that gives you some peace of mind. It used to be that everything was on the hard drive. If the hard drive failed, you were, out of luck. So anyway, we've already gone 6 minutes. I haven't even talked about WordPress or domains or website hosting, communication, video conferencing, WhatsApp, and I didn't even get to Evernote. So there's a lot more to say here, including LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Well, I know what I'll be talking about tomorrow. And I'm always open to suggestions about these topics. So don't be shy and have a great night.